Joseph Robinette Rogan, he's been falling off a little bit. Now, I just want to warn you guys ahead of time. Jordan Peterson went on this broadcast with one intention, and that is to, of course, gain prominence and you know, have some media about him. But, like, he wanted to trigger the libs, okay? He said it. He said he wanted to trigger the libs. So just remember that. Remember when you watch this, when you get like upset about the things he's saying or whatever, but like it's literally the main purpose of this.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So we decided to have this conversation because of what's going on with you in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And that your clinical psychology license is in jeopardy because you have opinions about politics that they disagree with, which is a very dangerous and bizarre turn of events.
Well, it's your fault, actually. You know, I told you, I think, a week or so ago.
What the wearing the ugly ass suit, bro?
We talked about this. Okay, so let me give you some background here. So
I want to know how it's my fault.
I will. I'll tell you. A lot of things are your fault, as it turns out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the College of Psychologists has basically levied what are equivalent to about 13 lawsuits against me simultaneously. Now, the reason
Bro, these dudes love LARPing as villains. They're so funny. Bro, no one is afraid of you, dog. You are an effete lib. Like, you might be transphobic and you're like dunking on the most marginalized individuals in society ultimately, but like nobody thinks you are no one thinks that you are a dangerous individual or scary.
call them lawsuits is because they're actions undertaken on behalf of a complainant. Now, the complainant can be anyone anywhere in the world who complains about me for any reason. They don't have to be former clients. They don't even have to be anybody I've ever met. They don't even have to have met anybody I've ever met. So, you know.
So it could be someone online.
Well, it is. All this is pretty much, all these complaints are someone online. None of them are my clients, although half of them claim to be falsely. And the college didn't throw out their complaints despite that. So, which is really quite interesting.
And what are the complaints?
Well, okay, let's see. The one complaint is about the tweet I made about Eleanor Elliott Page, and when I said that a criminal physician cut off her breasts and that pride was the sin. So now I'm in trouble again because I just said the same thing. One was about Sports Illustrated cover where they featured that overweight model, and I tweeted out "not beautiful," and I guess that was something like fat shaming.
Well, you have such a twisted view on Jordan. If you actually listen to what he has to say, there's merit to it. Yeah, you're right. I think two consenting adults getting like a mastectomy is actually the same as like Nazi experimentation. You're right. You're so right. Or that like, you're right. Sorry. Thick mommies, not beautiful. He's objectively right on that. I mean, the two things that he just mentioned that he got like clapped for are such unhinged takes that like I didn't even have to go to the massive library of psychotic Jordan Peterson sentiments, attitudes, resentments, and ideology. He just clowned himself. And you, my friend, are even worse than the clown. You are the defender of the clown.
I don't remember exactly what the charge was. And then I criticized Justin Trudeau and a former...
Like, centrists are... Oh, one last thing I gotta say. Centrists are so stupid. They're like, you just don't want to hear what he has to say? Hey, dumbass, this is a 9-minute video. I clicked on it. I very clearly want to hear what he has to say. The difference is you don't want to hear me criticize him. Okay? That's what you don't want to do. And I'll make it easier for you. I'll just ban you. You can still watch, but you can't chirp.
Staff member of Justin Trudeau and Jacinda Ardern. I made a joke about her. I was going to New Zealand, and the New Zealand leftist press was freaking out, and I made this joke about bringing my alt-right trolls to New Zealand, and then I put in parentheses, or maybe they're just, ordinary people who are trying to clean up their rooms. So apparently that was casting the profession into disgrace. And then they submitted, one complainant from the U.S. submitted the entire transcript of our last discussion. So, I don't know how to defend myself against that because apparently everything I say.
I think one of the funniest parts about defending Jordan Peterson is that he's objectively a weak man with a shitty sense of taste. He's such a bozo that he got addicted to benzos at the age of like 70. Not only that, almost died because his daughter is the real dragon of chaos. But he's such a crybaby pussy, dude. is such a endless victim. And of course, all these other crybaby pussies on the internet who are somehow even dumber than Jordan Peterson love looking up to him and making him seem like he's this like objectively powerful human being, this deity almost.
Case about my comments about the inadequacy of climate models. And so, part of the reason I'm pursuing this action with regard to the Ontario College of Psychologists, well, there's two reasons, really. Three. One is...
Hey, what are you going to do? You're going to cry, chatters that love Jordan Peterson? Oh, no, don't do it, piss baby. Don't cry.
Leave me the hell alone, guys. You've been on my case nonstop for 7 years. Not once before that in 20 years of practice. There's no complaints ever levied against me. It wasn't until I started to become, relatively well-known publicly that the college came after me. And 7 years of that gets to be a bit much, especially now that there's 13 lawsuits compiled up, and all of them are for political opinions, and half of them have been put forward on false grounds. But even that's not enough for me to engage in the battle. The reason I'm engaging in the battle is, well, first of all, you want me to do social media retraining so I communicate better according to your experts? It's like, experts by what criteria exactly? What's a social media communication expert? You got any documentation that even exists?
When I got banned from TikTok, I was pissed off, right? Because it was a false ban. I didn't violate any rules, and they lied and claimed that I did. And it was frustrating because I was like, this is something that a lot of people have to experience on TikTok in general. But I never turned around and made it seem like this was a battle between good and evil. Like, this routinely says the most unhinged shit. The other day, if you remember, he made a sarcastic joke that made it seem like he looks up child pornography all the time. Okay, I think that alone is like enough for an institution to be like, bro, you got to stop tweeting. Like, I know you're a tenured professor and all, but like, holy, like, what are you doing? You're a burden on the administration. You're a burden on the brand that we're trying to cultivate as an institution of higher learning. Jordan Peterson is so bombastic. Like, he loves taking up like normal things that happen to him that are completely justifiable, like an institution that he's associated with being coming up to him and saying, dog, you got to stop posting like this. You sound like a insane person. You're making us look bad. He takes that and goes, this is a crime against humanity. Even the Nazis would allow me to post if given the opportunity. This is worse than Solzhenitsyn's depiction of the Gulag Archipelago. These Stalinists must stop with their warfare against good posts. It's like, dude, no. It's not that brilliant. It's not this like battle between good and evil in the way that you're trying to present it. You're just simply an insane person who's posting like a petulant little baby. You're often wrong, and you make the institution that you are aligned with look bad. It's pretty normal. There is no battle between good and evil. Maybe good and bad posting, and you're posting bad. That's it.
Oh, that if you have that social media expert train me, that I'm going to be a better therapist. There's no body of data that suggests that in the least. So I'm not going down that route.
We should explain that because
so I've already been sentenced, right?
Yes.
So this isn't a threat by the college. This is what the situation already is. I haven't been hauled in front of their disciplinary board yet, but they've already convicted me of disgracing the profession and sentenced me to an indefinite period of re-education. And that's the second most serious punishment that they can levy against a professional. The first is to take away the license. The second is to undergo this retraining and to publicly announce the necessity for that, which they've already done.
Zizek's Purvis Guide to Ideology is a very good introduction to how centrist ideology often tries to hide as no ideology when it is actually fully acting in an ideological manner. It is a movie that uses pop culture references so even Zoomers can learn. Yes, Michael from Pennsylvania is correct. It is a very good movie. We've watched it on the stream before, or at least bits and pieces of it. That's one of the most nefarious, insidious aspects of neoliberal cultural hegemony. It oftentimes uses the notion of being the default position to its advantage to make it seem like when people say, look at the common sense, look at everything around you, that's actually just the centrist position. Like, that's just the norm. We got to always be in the center, even keeled, even though the system is inherently designed in a very right-wing manner.
Done in my case. And so now I have to sit down with these experts at my expense for an indefinite period of time until I'm trained properly, whatever the hell that means, by the criteria of the so-called
Playing Noobs, thank you for the 5.
experts and the college. And that isn't pending an investigation. That's already in place.
Such a wild request,
It's-
too. Retraining, just even the way they phrase it, it's so bizarre, so Orwellian.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, it's your fault,
Social-
you know.
Like Joe Rogan's appeal is that he's a dumb caveman. Okay, that's it. Orwellian is the starting point and finishing point of Joe Rogan's lexicon. That is like, you know, that's his SAT word. Oh, so Orwellian, dude. That's why he has mass appeal. Jordan Peterson, his mass appeal is that he like is someone that Joe Rogan likes because he makes Joe Rogan feel smart. He intellectualizes the Rogan way of thinking and way of living.
Because it's the whole transcript of our last conversation. I don't imagine they'll be that happy with this one. So, but the other reason I'm pursuing it, and to the degree that I'm able to keep my head clear during this process, because it definitely makes me angry and really made me angry over Christmas when I was spending Christmas going through the minutiae of all.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's appeal is that the general population can relate to him. Average intelligence looks and kind of funny, but not really that funny. He also routinely admits that he's a dumb ape. But the more he becomes an out-of-touch, like, multimillionaire, the more his audience despises him for it. Because, like, there are every single instance, every single time Joe Rogan gets, like, quote-unquote canceled for saying some dumb shit, people yell at him for some dumb shit. It's almost always about him, like, being an out-of-touch multimillionaire. He's become this, like, unhinged weirdo that is so isolated from the average citizen, the average normie. In his like current, Austin iteration of the podcast, where he basically is just like, I am the God King, don't disagree with me. I don't like that. Doesn't matter if I'm like stupid.
Instead of, taking a bit of a break and having some time with my family. And so I was very upset about that. But to the degree that I'm upset about it, I'm not doing it right, because this can't be personal. It can't be about me. Part of the reason that I want to pursue this. And
Joe does have people who disagree with him on the show. No, he doesn't. He rarely ever has someone who legitimately and genuinely disagrees with him on the show. So much so that if you ask people in the comedy sphere, even they will oftentimes be like aware of what Joe Rogan's takes are so that they don't offend him.
Part of the reason we're pursuing an objection to what they're doing on Charter of Rights grounds in Canada is because they're interfering with my freedom of conscience and speech. And again, it isn't even the case that the reason that that's a problem is because it's about me. The reason it's a problem is because the colleges in general, like the regulatory boards of professionals, are doing this to everyone. Lawyers, physicians, teachers, massage therapists. There's all these licensed professions. And if you're a licensed profession, the government establishes a board of your peers to regulate conduct of the professionals. Now, and in a functional time, all that happens then is that generally the people who get in trouble with their own clients, right? With the people they've been dealing with directly. And then the board steps in on the side of the person who's been injured by a pathologically practicing professional. And fair enough. But now it's been weaponized, and it's been weaponized as a political.
Jordan Peterson would never just grossly lie about a law as it pertains to free speech, right? Homie is trying to do the same thing he did with C-16 again. And this time, I don't think people are going to put up with it. Like, he doesn't have that kind of clout again, little bro. Go dunk on, like, some blue-haired SJWs or something first to bring that clout up again. Go on, like, a BBC show or something and, like, make a woman look hysterical or whatever so that your incel audience can enjoy it. Or you can go the Andrew Tate route, dude. Talk about your Bugatti. Maybe you can cultivate an audience that way. People have moved on. This is old shit. It's not fun. We've moved on to Andrew Tate now. That's what us incels want. We want Bugattis. We don't want weird suits. We want skin-tight weird suits with little slippies, little flip-flops.